This video is brought to you by Factory Direct Trains. Visit factorydirecttrains.com and check out their wide selection of model railroading products and supplies. Hey everybody, it's Jimmy from the DIY and Digital, and today we're starting the installation of the Arduino Multiblock signal system. Welcome back everybody. First of all, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you are eligible for the 5,000 subscriber contest sponsored by Factory Direct Trains. I'm giving away an N-Scale Broadway Limited T1 with DCC and Paragon 3 sound, and an HO Scale DCC Ready Athearn GE-9 in the Union Pacific Chicago Northwestern paint scheme. And you do have to be a subscriber to be eligible for that. And if you want to enter that contest, I'll put a link in the description below. So first of all, this is going to be my new setup for doing the talking portions of my videos. You may recognize it from the June live stream. And what I really wanted was a simple place that I could sit down and record anytime I felt like it, so that I could really get into really producing the meat of the subject matter for the video, so I can focus more time there rather than on the beginning and ending. So now I can literally just plop down at my desk and move one light in place and be able to go ahead and just shoot these parts of the videos and focus on the main subject matter. So this is going to be the new setup for the talking portions of my videos. I hope you guys like it. It's also going to be the setup for the live streams for the near future at least. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, and let's go ahead and dig into this install video. What we're doing today is we're going to be doing a part one of a two-part video series, sort of, where we're going to be installing the Arduino Multiblock signal system on my layout. Now, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be setting up the individual block and getting it ready to connect to the other blocks. We're also going to be running the wires for the signals themselves, and we'll be doing the rest of that later because the actual installation of the signals and the sensors really requires track to be in place, foam board bases to be in place. So we can only do so much before we actually get the signal system fully installed. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you'll remember from the benchwork video, we put these Arduino Nano shields in place so that it would be very easy to do the wiring once we got to that point. And now we can finally put the Arduino Nano into the Nano shield and begin using the terminal blocks that are attached to it for the wiring process. The next thing you'll want to do is I'm going to put in these 8-slot terminal strips so that we can make wiring, once the layout has its top in place, very easy to do so that we don't have to interact directly with the Nano. Now we begin wiring the actual Arduino Nano, and what we're going to be doing is going for digital pins 2, 3, and 4 right here with green, yellow, and red wires, and I'm using color-coded wires so that there isn't any confusion whatsoever. Now we take those wires and we connect them to the terminal strip. What we're really doing here is we're making it easy to adjust and change wiring so that we don't have to fiddle with the base wiring to the Arduino Nano itself. We can literally just interact with this terminal strip, so when troubleshooting happens, once we've tested it out, we know for a fact that it's not going to be coming from the Arduino itself unless something really major has gone wrong. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be wiring up the 5-volt connection from the Arduino, since we'll be using this to power both of the positive sides of the signals. And we're going to want to put this in the middle so that we don't have to stretch our wires too much. And this will also power the infrared sensors as well. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to wire up the signal 2, and that is slots 5, 6, and 7. And we're doing this the exact same way that we did signal 1. So we're using the color-coded wiring again, and we're going to start hooking this up to the terminal, and we're going to be using these next 3 slots as our connections for signal 2. And the nice thing is we do have that spacer with the power, so it will be a little bit less confusing when we get under the table. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to hook up the ground connection from the Arduino to the final slot on the terminal strip. This will be used to connect all the Arduinos in the block signal system around on a common ground, as well as the ground for the infrared sensors on this block. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a 4-slot terminal strip, and this is going to be for the communication sending signals from the Arduino to the other Arduinos in the block signal system, as well as bringing the inputs from the infrared sensors back. And again, we're doing this so that we can have a easier place to access these different terminals rather than working on the Arduino itself once the top goes on the layout. So we're going to connect our block A send pin, which is pin 8, to terminal slot 1, block B send, which is pin 9, into terminal slot 2. We then switch over to the analog side of the Arduino, and we're going to be connecting analog pin A0 to terminal slot 3, and that is where infrared sensor 1 is going to come in. And then we're going to connect analog pin A1 to terminal slot 4, and that's where infrared sensor 2 is going to come in. Now it's time to run the wires that will go to the signal, and we're going to be using 4-stranded phone line, which is really great because it comes with the properly colored wires within it. We're going to start by threading it through and go ahead and get it routed in place to where it's going to be going. We'll then take it and we'll hook it into the terminal strip itself, and these are the wires for block signal 1. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to use the same color wires that are going to correspond right here, and we're going to hook them all up, as well as the black wire that's going to connect to the 5-volt connection in the middle of the terminal strip. We then go ahead and run the wire for block signal number 2, and we go ahead and do it in the exact same fashion where we're doing the wires exactly matching, and this is what we end up with. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to hook up a ground wire that's going to be running as the common ground to the other Arduino so that we can hook them all together. Then we're just going to take all of the signal wire and we're going to thread it roughly in place so that we don't have to do too much work underneath. And here are all the blocks actually hooked up together, and as you can see, I have digital pins 8 and 9 hooked up to pins A2 and A3 on the Arduinos that they need to be, and that's pretty much all we can do right now. I know this really wasn't a full-blown tutorial, but I hope it gives you guys some ideas of how to do the wiring for the block signal. So that was essentially part 1 of the installation of the Arduino multi-block signal system, and that's pretty much everything that we can do up until we're actually putting the signals and the sensors on the railroad itself. So that's going to be coming up at a later date once I get a few more things put in place, and you'll definitely know about that, especially if you're a subscriber. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit that like button, hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any updates, including when I finish the installation of the Arduino multi-block signal system. So that's it for today, guys. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Happy railroading!